Hi everyone. Let us start off by saying, thank you for purchasing this debt tracker tool. We at the Digital Whizzo team really appreciate your support. In this video, we are going to be diving into the details of the different options of this debt tracker. Firstly, we will look at how to add your personal debt information to generate a personalized and detailed debt payoff plan. And secondly, we will go over all the features of this tool, including, but not limited to, the payment logger, the ability to add extra snowflake amounts, and the ability to mark off your progress as you make your payments. By the end of this video, you will have a comprehensive understanding of how to use our spreadsheet to manage your debts. And we trust that you will have found it to be easy and intuitive to use. So getting started, when you open the spreadsheet, you will find yourself on this README page. And on this page, you will see the quick guide tutorials for using this debt tracker. This guide is intentionally short and has been designed to be easy to digest and to give you a quick reference should you have any questions about the features of this tracker. Before moving on, I would also just like to point out that you have the ability to collapse the toolbar in Google Sheets itself. By just clicking this button, you can open up more real estate on your screen while you use the tool. Now, let's get started using the debt tracker. In the debt payoff tracker, there are a few key things that are important to note. Firstly, this payoff tracker allows you to use two methods for paying off your debt, the debt snowball method or the debt avalanche method. When using the debt snowball approach, you will prioritize paying off the debt with the lowest balance first. Once that debt is paid, you pay off the next lowest balance. In comparison, when using the debt avalanche method, you will focus on the debt with the highest interest rate first. And then, when that is paid off, you will move on to the debt with the next highest interest rate. In this tutorial, we are going to use the debt snowball mode. The next thing to know is that you will need to set a start date for when to begin your payments. You can find this setting in the top left. Once you have set a starting date, you can begin inputting your personal information. For each debt, there are 4 fields to fill out. First, you will write out the name of your debt. Then you will fill out the current balance, the minimum payment you need to make each month, and lastly, the annual interest rate. Once you have filled out all your debts, you will see that they will be reorganized on the right-hand side so that the debts with the lowest balance are prioritized. The spreadsheet will also begin populating the details of your payment plan. In this tab, you can now see a summary on what you have left to pay, the projected payoff period, the amount of interest that you need to pay, and finally, the date where you can expect to be debt-free. Now, while this is a summary of the payment plan, the details are going to be in the Payment Details tab. In this tab, there will be a monthly breakdown of payments for each debt. We know this is a lot of information displayed on the screen, but it is easy to follow once you go over it. Firstly, you can see the date. It starts based on the payment date you set in the previous tab. In addition, you can see the minimum payments, the balance at the end of each month, as well as the interest you would pay for that month. The final bits of information are the projected payment, the rollover, and the actual payment. And I would like to go over these last 3 items in a bit more depth. The projected payment is a combination of the minimum payment and any rollover for that month. You can consider this to be the default payment you would need to make in a month. Now, what is rollover? Rollover occurs when you have finished paying off one of your debts. When a debt has been paid off, you can take its minimum payment and use it towards another debt. In this example, we can see that we finish paying off our credit card debt in June 2024. This means that we now have an extra $200 to put towards our next lowest debt, which in this case is our personal loan, and you can see here that this indeed happens. From June 2024, we are now rolling over an extra $200 for our personal loan, and this rollover pattern will continue and build up until all our debts are paid off. You should now be able to see some of the reasoning behind the phrase debt snowball. Now, the last field I would like to discuss is the actual payment field. This field shows the actual payments you have made towards a debt, and you would record these amounts in the Payments Log tab. Let's do this now. For example, let's say that, for a certain debt, I have made a payment for January. I would indicate the date of the payment, the name of the debt that has been paid, the recipient, and the amount. Once these fields have been filled out, you can go back to the Payment Details tab, and you will see that the debt payoff plan will update to reflect that amount. This in turn will update the progress tracker for the relevant debt. In this way, you have fine-grained control in tracking the payments you have made for each debt. Furthermore, I would just like to mention that you can log any amount in the Payments Log tab, even if that amount is higher than the projected payment. If you do log an amount that is higher than the projected payment, then the payoff plan will update itself to use your higher amount in its calculations instead of the minimum projected amount. For example, if I go back to the payments log and change the amount from $200 to $300, then this new amount will reflect in the Payment Details tab and will be used to calculate an updated balance for that month. As a result, you can make as many customized payments as you want, and the spreadsheet will be able to account for them correctly. Now that we have gone over the Payment Details tab, I would like to go over the last tab in the spreadsheet, the Summary and Calendar tab. This tab provides a visual way to understand the state of your payments. On the right, you have a calendar, which provides a time-based view of all your payments. This calendar will update based on the month and year that you choose. Then, in the top left, there is a summary of the current month's payment status for one of your debts. In this field, you can see if you have logged the necessary payment for a certain debt in the current month. Furthermore, underneath this you will see a summary of the chosen debt's information, including the starting balance, the final payment date, the amount of the principal that has been paid, as well as the remaining balance that still needs to be paid. Lastly, if you scroll down, there is a final table that provides an overview of all the payments you have made for a certain debt in the current year. The ultimate goal of all these tools is to provide a visual way for you to filter, view, and measure the payments that you have logged, making it easier to keep track of your current progress for each debt in a time period. Before concluding the tutorial, I would also like to mention some optional features that have been added to this debt tracker. Firstly, if you go to the Input tab, at the top, you will see an option for an extra monthly amount. This provides a broad way to add an extra fixed amount to your debt payments. And it is important to note that this fixed amount will be applied consistently to all months. The usefulness of this feature is that it allows you to make rough changes to your payoff plan and see how much faster you would become debt-free by contributing a bit extra. The last extra feature that needs to be mentioned are the debt snowflakes. These are extra payments you can make per month if you have leftover money that month, and it will update the payment plan for you. This is similar to adding an extra monthly contribution, like we did in the previous tab. However, it is more flexible as it allows you to add extra amounts on a month-by-month basis. It is also important to note that the debt snowflakes will update your projected payoff plan. It will not update your actual amounts. To update your actual amounts, you will need to go back to the payments log and make the necessary changes in that tab. And now that brings me to the end of this tutorial. We trust that you found this helpful. We had a lot of fun putting it together, and if you do have any other questions, please contact our team and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks again, and wishing you all the best with your finances.